Imam Ali's sayings, which have come down to us in the form of Nahjul-Balagha, possess a versatility that sets them apart from all other literary works. They are not confined to any particular field alone. In his own words, Imam Ali has not trodden one single path, but has covered diverse grounds, which occasionally are quite antithetical. Nahjul-Balagha is a masterpiece, but not of the kind which excels in one single field, such as the epic, the ghazal, the sermon, the praise, the satire, or the love poetry. Rather, it covers multifarious fields that span the entire spectrum of human experience. Works which are masterpieces in a particular field do indeed exist. Nevertheless, their number is not great, and they are countable. The number of works which cover numerous subjects but are not masterpieces is quite large. But the characteristic that a work be simultaneously a masterpiece without restricting itself to any one particular subject is an exclusive merit of Nahjul-Balagha. With the exception of the Holy Quran, which is altogether a different subject to be dealt with independently, what masterpiece is comparable to Nahjul-Balagha's versatility? Speech is the spirit's envoy, and the words of a man relate to the sphere in which his spirit dwells. Naturally, a speech which pertains to multiple spheres is characteristic of a spirit which is too creative to be confined to a single sphere. Since the spirit of Imam Ali is not limited to a particular domain, but encompasses various spheres, and he, in the terminology of Islamic mystics, is al-Insan al-Kamil, the perfect man, al-Kawn al-Jami, the complete microcosm, and Jami Kulal Hadarat, the possessor of all higher virtues, so his speech is not limited to any one particular sphere. Accordingly, as we should say, in terms current nowadays, that Ali's merit lies in the multi-dimensional nature of his speech, that it is different from one-dimensional works. The all-embracing nature of Ali's spirit and his speech is not a recent discovery. It is a feature which has invoked a sense of wonder since at least 1,000 years. It was this quality that had attracted the attention of Sayyid ar-Radi 1,000 years ago, and he fell in love with Ali's speeches and writings. He writes, "Of Ali's wonderful qualities, which exclusively belong to him, none sharing them with him, is that when one reflects upon his discourses regarding abstinence and his exhortations concerning spiritual awareness, for a while one totally forgets that the speaker of these words was a person of the highest social and political caliber, one who ruled over vast regions during his time, and his word was in order for all. Even for a moment, the thought does not enter the reader's mind that the speaker of these words might have been inclined to anything except piety and seclusion, anything except devotion and worship, having selected a quiet corner of his house or a cave in some mountain valley, where he heard no voice except his own and knew nobody except himself, being totally oblivious of the world and its hustle and bustle." It is unbelievable that those sublime discourses on asceticism, detachment, and abstinence, and those spiritual exhortations came from somebody who pierced the enemy's ranks and went fighting to the very heart of their forces with a sword in his hand, poised to sever the enemy heads, and who threw many a mighty warrior down from his steed, causing him to roll into blood and dust. Blood drips from the edge of his sword, and yet he is the most pious of saints and the most devoted of sages. Sayyid al-Radi adds, saying, "Frequently I discuss this matter with friends, and it equally invokes their sense of wonder." Sheikh Muhammad Abdo, too, was profoundly moved by this aspect of Nahjul-Balagha, and it made him marvel at its swiftly changing scenes, which take the reader on a journey through different worlds. He makes a note of it in the introduction to his commentary of Nahjul-Balagha. Aside from his speech in general, Imam Ali had a spirit that was universal, all-embracing, and multidimensional, and he has always been eulogized for this quality. He is a just ruler, a devotee who remains awake all night long worshiping Allah. He weeps in the niche of prayer and smiles on the battlefield. He is a tough warrior and a soft-hearted and kind guardian. He is a philosopher of profound insight and an able general. He is a teacher, a preacher, a judge, a jurist, a peasant, and a writer. He is a perfect man whose great soul envelops all spheres of the human spirit. Opposites have come together in his attributes, traits which never gathered in one man, and the like of which none ever possessed. A gentleness and charm to abash the morning breeze, of valor and might to melt sturdy rocks. Poetry cannot describe the glory of his soul. His multifaceted personality is above the comprehension of all critics. Apart from what has been said, an interesting point is that in spite of the fact that Ali's discourses are about spiritual and moral issues, in them his literary charm and eloquence have attained their peak. Ali has not dealt with popular poetic themes such as love, wine, and vainglory, which are fertile subjects for literary expression and prose and poetry. Moreover, he did not aim at displaying his skills in the art of oratory. Speech for him was a means and not an end in itself. Neither did he intend to create an object of art, nor did he wish to be known as an author of a literary masterpiece. Above all, his words have a universality which transcends the limits of time and place. His addressee is the human being within every person. Accordingly, his message does not know any frontier, although generally time and place impose limits on the outlook of a speaker and confine his personality. The main aspect of the miraculous nature of the Quran is that its subjects and themes are altogether at variance with those current during the time of its revelation. It marks the beginning of a new era in literature and deals with another world and a different sphere. The beauty and charm of its style and its literary excellence are truly miraculous. In these aspects too, as is the case with its other features, Nahjul-Balagha comes closer to the Quran. In truth, it is the offspring of the Holy Quran. The variety of topics and themes discussed in Nahjul-Balagha unfolds a wide spectrum of problems that give color and hue to these heavenly discourses. It covers theological and metaphysical issues, mystic path and worship, government and social justice, the al-Bayt and the issue of caliphate, wisdom and admonition, the world and worldliness, heroism and bravery, predictions and eschatology, prayers and invocations, critiques of the contemporary society, social philosophy, Islam and the Quran, morality and self-discipline, and personalities, along with a host of other topics. The turning point in understanding the full extent of Nahjul-Balagha's versatility comes when we recognize that Imam Ali's spirit was not confined to any single domain. His discourses on asceticism are so profound that one would think they came from a hermit who had never seen the world. Yet his discourses on governance, justice, and warfare are equally profound, revealing a man who was deeply engaged with the political and social realities of his time. This seeming contradiction is not a flaw, but a testament to the completeness of his vision. He was not one-dimensional. He was not limited by the constraints that bind ordinary human beings. His soul was vast enough to encompass both the battlefield and the prayer niche, both the courtroom and the hermit's cave. This versatility is what makes Nahjul-Balagha unique among all literary works. It is not merely a collection of sermons on piety or a manual on governance. It is a comprehensive guide to human existence, addressing every dimension of life with equal depth and authority. It speaks to the believer and the skeptic, the ruler and the subject, the warrior and the ascetic, the philosopher and the ordinary person. It is a book that grows with the reader, revealing new layers of meaning with each reading. Sayyid ar-Radi, who compiled Nahjul-Balagha 1,000 years ago, was deeply aware of this versatility. He marveled at how Ali could speak of spiritual detachment with such profundity, and yet also speak of justice and governance with the authority of a seasoned ruler. He discussed this with his friends, and they too were filled with wonder. This sense of wonder has continued through the centuries. Every generation that encounters Nahjul-Balagha discovers anew its richness and depth. Sheikh Mohammed Abdo, the Mufti of Egypt, experienced this same sense of wonder. He noted in his commentary that reading Nahjul-Balagha takes the reader on a journey through different worlds. One moment you are in the realm of pure spirituality. The next you are in the realm of political strategy. The next you are in the realm of profound philosophy. The transitions are seamless, the depth is constant, and the impact is overwhelming. This versatility is not accidental. It flows from the nature of Ali's own spirit. He was not a specialist confined to one field. He was a complete human being who lived fully in every dimension of existence. He was a just ruler who also spent his nights in prayer. He was a fierce warrior who was also tender-hearted and kind. He was a profound philosopher who was also a practical man of action. He was a teacher, a preacher, a judge, a jurist, a peasant, and a writer. Opposites came together in his attributes, traits that never gathered in any other man. Safi al-Din al-Hilli beautifully captured this aspect of Ali's personality when he wrote, "Opposites have come together in thy attributes, and for that thou hast no rivals. A devout, a ruler, a man of forbearance and a courageous one, a lethal warrior and ascetic, a pauper yet generous to others, traits which never gathered in one man, and the like of which none ever possessed. A gentleness and charm to abash the morning breeze, a valor and might to melt sturdy rocks. Poetry cannot describe the glory of thy soul. Your multifaceted personality is above the comprehension of all critics." This is the Ali of Nahjul-Balagha. This is the man whose words continue to inspire and guide millions. This is the book that defies all attempts to categorize it. It is a book of spirituality, but also a book of politics. It is a book of ethics, but also a book of strategy. It is a book of wisdom, but also a book of action. It is a book that speaks to every human being, in every time, in every place, about every aspect of existence. The main aspect of the miraculous nature of the Quran is that its subjects and themes are altogether at variance with those current during the time of its revelation. It marks the beginning of a new era in literature and deals with another world and a different sphere. The beauty and charm of its style and its literary excellence are truly miraculous. In these aspects too, as is the case with its other features, Nahjul-Balagha comes closer to the Quran. In truth, it is the offspring of the Holy Quran. This is not to say that Nahjul-Balagha is equal to the Quran. The Quran is the word of Allah, beyond human reach or imitation. Nahjul-Balagha is the word of a human being, but a human being who was perfected by his proximity to divine truth. It is the speech of one who was nourished by the Quran, who lived its teachings, and who embodied its spirit. It is, as some have said, above the speech of beings and below the word of the Creator. It occupies a unique position in Islamic literature, a position that no other work can claim. The themes of Nahjul-Balagha are vast and varied. They include theological and metaphysical issues that probe the nature of God and existence. They include mystical path and worship that guide the seeker towards spiritual perfection. They include government and social justice that establish the principles of righteous rule. They include the al-Bayt and the issue of caliphate that illuminate the rightful leadership of the community. They include wisdom and admonition that warn against the seductions of the world. They include heroism and bravery that inspire courage in the face of oppression. They include predictions and eschatology that remind us of the ultimate destiny of all things. They include prayers and invocations that connect the believer to the divine. They include critiques of contemporary society that expose hypocrisy and injustice. They include social philosophy that outlines the principles of a just society. They include Islam and the Quran that explain the foundations of faith. They include morality and self-discipline that cultivate the virtues of the soul. And they include personalities that offer lessons in leadership and character. This is the richness of Nahjul-Balagha. This is the comprehensiveness of its vision. This is why it remains, after more than 14 centuries, as relevant and powerful as ever. It is a book that defies time and place, because it speaks to the timeless and placeless reality of the human condition. It is a book that continues to inspire new generations of seekers, scholars, and believers, offering them guidance, wisdom, and hope. The author of this dissertation makes no claim to have done justice to this inexhaustible treasure. What is offered in these chapters is no more than a glimpse, a brief account of the variety of its themes. It is his firm belief that others will come in the future, who shall be able to do justice to this masterpiece of human power of speech. Perhaps with divine assistance, after deriving a greater benefit from this treasure, the writer may be able to undertake a more comprehensive study. Or perhaps others may be blessed with the opportunity to accomplish such an undertaking. In the meantime, the gift of Nahjul-Balagha remains available to all who seek wisdom, all who seek guidance, all who seek truth. It is a book that can be read and reread, studied and meditated upon, and with each encounter it reveals new depths and new insights. It is a book that speaks to the heart as well as the mind, addressing the whole human being in all his complexity and grandeur. Ali's words are not merely words. They are windows into a soul that was touched by the divine, a soul that reflected the light of truth in all its dimensions. They are a call to rise above the limitations of the ego, to embrace the fullness of existence, and to live a life of purpose, justice, and love. They are a reminder that the path to God is not a single road, but a network of paths, each leading to the same destination, each offering its own beauty and challenges. May Allah bless Imam Ali and the Allah Bayt, and may He guide us all to follow their noble example. May He grant us the wisdom to understand the teachings of Nahjul-Balagha and the strength to live by them. May He make us among those who are guided by the light of truth and who are steadfast in the path of righteousness. Ameen.